Good evening. My name is Gary Scarth, and I am proud to be the director of the Williamsburg Community Band. Band's been around since 1996, and we have a lot of fun. Because I've said to them on more than one occasion, if we're not having fun, it ain't worth doing. So hopefully this evening you will also have some fun. The first piece that we played, Jingle Bells, is actually Jingle Bells March, and it is representative of what we're going to do this evening, which is to play traditional Christmas songs in a somewhat non-traditional way. Almost every one of them has a little twist to it, okay? So the next piece comes to us from 65, okay? A bunch of little kids decided to put together a Christmas show. And in the process, they told us what the real meaning of Christmas was. Charles Schulz, who was the creator of the Peanuts gang, insisted that if we were going to do a full-length cartoon about Christmas, that it had to have two things in it. One was it had to have the true meaning of Christmas in it, meaning that they had to recite the story of Christmas from the book of Luke. And the music that was written for it had to have a jazz flavor to it. And so they got the Vince Guaraldi trio to do the music. And so what we're going to do for you now is selections from A Charlie Brown Christmas. I got to ask, how many of you were doing the Linus dance? There you go. There you go. Okay. There you go. All right. When we were here earlier this summer, we did a nice program here, and one of the pieces that we did was the Frank Sinatra song, Come Fly With Me. And I said at that time, they don't need me. And I went over there and sat down, and they played the whole piece. I got it started, I got it finished. The rest of them, they were on their own. I'm not going to do that anymore. Not with this stuff. This stuff is pretty challenging, so I will be up here. You're stuck with me. Okay? But the Come Fly With Me was the nice big band swing sound to it. And we're going to do one now that's reminiscent of that. It's been around for years. It's the most wonderful time of the year, and that's the title of the song. And I kid because, came out with Christmas, but it's been co-opted. The song has been, and it's now being used almost on an annual basis for it's time to send the kids back to school. Okay? See the guy running through the store, is kind of sailing on a cart. Okay, so... And we have a third reason. You'll have to figure that out at some other time because I'm not going to tell you. Okay? It's the most wonderful time of the year. Talented people are always in demand. We're losing a saxophone player, but gaining a pianist. Julia's going to switch over and help us on this next piece on piano. This is a new piece for the group. We've performed it once last night. Okay? We were in the Williamsburg Christmas walk at the Presbyterian Church, and we played a program down there. And we kind of introduced this piece for adding to our repertoire. And it is an interesting arrangement of Do You Hear What I Hear? Features the clarinets a little bit, features the saxes a little bit, and then eventually everybody gets in on the fun. So, do you hear what I hear? Okay, now that we're warmed up, this next piece comes from about 1950, 1951, somewhere around there. Anybody remember the Boston Pops? Boston Pops. Arthur Fiedler, director of the Boston Pops. He asked his in-house composer, arranger, a gentleman by the name of Leroy Anderson, to write him a piece of music for a Christmas concert. And he just said, you know, come up with whatever you want to come up with. And I want to record it. Once it's written and we're performing it, I want to be able to record it. The interesting thing about this piece is at the time when they were recording music, there weren't digital and there wasn't tapes and there wasn't, you had LPs or 45s and that was it. So the length of a record that could be recorded at that time was about 4 minutes. Well, this piece is 8. So they built in a break point so they could play half of it recorded and then play the other half recorded. So if you actually had a copy of this on a record at the time, you actually had to turn the record over to get the whole thing. Okay? It is what is called, and what Anderson called, a concert overture. If you've ever been to a Broadway show or gone seen a musical someplace live, there's all kinds of different music in the show, especially the musicals. And there's a pit orchestra, and the pit orchestra would play music before the acting actually started. And the pit orchestra would play excerpts from the music that they were going to play during the show. So, and that's an overture. This is called a concert overture because it's not associated with any stage production at all. It's just a concert piece. So it's a concert overture. That was Leroy Anderson's term, and I think it works. This is a somewhat demanding piece for any group to play, and I'm pleased to say this group plays it real well. This is a Christmas festival. let me take just a second, first of all, to catch my breath and to say thank you to the Methodist Church for the use of their handbells. The part in that is actually written for orchestral chimes, which are about this big and very difficult to transport. So that worked much better. And to Jessica for playing them. And because of the demanding, I think, of this program, I told him I'd give him a break. So it's break time. Except for you all, this is now audience participation time. Okay? Now, if you were with us yesterday in Williamsburg, you are not allowed to participate because you already know the answers. Or maybe you do. We'll find out, okay? As I said earlier, the program is traditional Christmas songs in a non-traditional way, or maybe a little offbeat. So now we're going to see how well you can process Christmas titles, okay? But I'm not going to read them like you're used to them, okay? So I'll give you an example, okay? I'm going to read it one way. You have to think of what that really should be in terms of what the real Christmas title is. So here's an example. It's an office for 2 psychiatrists. Very good. It is the Nutcracker Suite. All right, see where we're going? I didn't say they were good. Okay, all right, so here we go. How about bleached Yule? White Christmas. Some of these are easy, some of them not so easy. Castaneous-colored seed vesticated in a conflagration. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Hang on, you'll get them. Singular yearning for the twin anterior incisors. All I want for Christmas is my 2 front teeth. Righteous darkness. Oh, holy night, righteous. Oh, holy night. Arrival time, 24 hours. Weather, cloudless. Very good. Came upon a midnight clear. Midnight, 24 hours, cloudless, clear. Okay, good. All right. Loyal followers advance. Come all ye faithful. Far off in a feeder. Way in the manger. Array the corridor. Deck the halls. Bantam male percussionist. Little drummer boy. Nocturnal noiselessness. Silent night. There you go. Jehovah deactivate blithe chevaliers. Nope. Jehovah deactivate blithe chevaliers. God rest ye merry gentlemen. They don't get any better, but I do have a few more. Proceed and enlighten on the pinnacle. Go tell it on the mountain. The quadruped with the vermilion proboscis. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. Okay. Query regarding identity of descendant. What child is this? What child is this? Delight for this planet. Joy to the world. Give attention to the melodious celestial beings. No, I thought I heard it. Nope, it's not angels we've heard. Hark the herald angels sing. Yeah. The dozen festive 24 intervals. 12 days of Christmas. There you go. Okay? So if anybody throws some weird Christmas titles to you, you're experienced, you know what to do. in, how we doing? Talk some more. I'm not surprised because having played this last night, I didn't think the recovery time would be quite as quick this evening. So, you know, as I said earlier, the Williamsburg Band has been around since 1996. It was started as part of the Williamsburg Bicentennial. Okay? A group of people got together and said, hey, can we do something for that? And I think you've been playing every year since. And so I'm going to get out of the way for a minute. They don't know I'm going to do this. So this ought to be real interesting. Okay? If you've been in the group for more than 5 years, stand up. 10 years. 15 years. 20 years. I can go 25. Original members. Now, here's the interesting thing. This is a completely volunteer group. So these people give up their time during the summer. We have rehearsals on Tuesday nights. If you play an instrument or have ever played an instrument and would like to join, you are more than welcome to come out. We meet at the Williamsburg High School band room at 7 o'clock. We rehearse for about an hour. And like I said earlier, our goal is to play the music put in front of them as best as we can play it, but have fun doing it. And probably have more fun than play music sometimes, but that's okay. Okay? We do enjoy our time together, and it's been a joy for me to take over as the director. More about that later. Okay? That enough? All right. And the reason they're saying that is because the last piece, very difficult, so is the next one. In about 1974-75, there was a couple of groups that came out and started doing Christmas music in what they called a neoclassical way. One of them is still touring today. It's a group called, just went out of my head, Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Thank you. I have moments. Trans-Siberian Orchestra. The other one was called Mannheim Steamroller. Okay, remember that? They did some albums, and they were really original with the titles of their albums. They did 4 or 5 of them, and every one was called A Fresh Air Christmas. But within those songs, they did different primary tunes. Some of them were, Jingle Bells, some of them were Green Sleeves, some of them were a little bit of everything. This one is kind of based on Deck the Halls. You heard a little bit of Deck the Halls earlier, but you ain't heard it like this. So this is Fresh Air Christmas, Mannheim Steamroller. we're missing a few people this evening, a couple of them specifically, because they were selected to participate in the Ohio University Honor Band. So they had a program at 4 o'clock this afternoon, and they just didn't think they would be able to get back in time. You know, considering it's what, 3 hours to drive it. So, but we are missing a couple of our flute players, trumpets, and a few other people that could not make it this evening. And as a result of that, I seriously considered not doing this next piece because it's really dependent on flutes. I was very quickly told we are playing this piece. Want to guess who told me we were playing this piece? So for those of you who have or suffer through earworms, and I'm not talking about the ones that kind of crawl in your ear, I'm talking about musical earworms, and if you don't know the term, it's you get a song stuck in your head and you can't get it out, okay? I do that all the time. I'll wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I got something going. Right now, it's one of these pieces. I have found that one of the ways you can get rid of earworms is start singing a song you just can't stand. And so you get that one to replace the one that's in your head, and it's a lot easier to get rid of the one you don't like. So let me recommend Baby Shark. Okay. Oh, you're familiar with the piece? Okay, all right. You're on. This is from Frozen, called Let It Go. if you will, let's hear it for Anna. And I just asked her about the next piece because we're going to do it again. And kind of put her on the spot a little bit. So, and I don't think she was really ready for this one. But it is a live performance, so we'll see what happens. This next one is a medley of songs around angels. It's got an interesting title. It's called The Angels of Christmas. Interestingly enough, of the 4 songs that are in here, none of them are from this country. One's from England, one's from France, one's from Germany, and one's from Italy. So, Angels of Christmas. A song that is not Christmassy per se, but is associated with the holiday seasons is Auld Lang Syne. New Year's Eve, okay? Anybody can tell me what that means? What does Auld Lang Syne mean? Well, I looked it up because I didn't know either. It basically is Scottish for of times gone past. It's an opportunity to reflect on the year, what's happened, some of the events that have taken place. And I think a lot of time you see a lot of the news, they'll say, well, end of December, they're going, well, this is what happened last year. It's also an opportunity to reflect on people that we've lost. For the Williamsburg Band, we lost the director. Brad Shell was the founding director of this group in 1996, along with the people that you saw. And unfortunately for Brad, he had cancer, fought it for a while, but in May of this year, we lost him to cancer. So we've been periodically through the year in our performances kind of finding a way to honor him. You probably can't see it very well, but on my sweater, I have a little pin that is in the shape of a saxophone. That was Brad's instrument. And so we've been wearing that from time to time this year. And this evening, I have a tie on, which is Santa Claus conducting. This was Brad's tie. And I'm not the only one. There are a number of others that have ties that belong to Brad. So we're going to do a piece here. It's called A Christmas Auld Lang Syne. So you get an opportunity while we're playing to, and I hesitate to ask people to close their eyes while we're playing, because you might not wake up. And snoring is not allowed. But it gives you an opportunity to just kind of think about this past year and things that have happened. And so this is a Christmas. Oh, and I wanted to say this was arranged by Jim Swearingen, who is an Ohio composer. So, and it's a beautiful arrangement. So, A Christmas Auld Lang Syne. And before I go on to the last piece, Lou, if you would, stand up, hit baritone solo on that piece, and Susan on the trumpet. I can't tell you how much fun I have doing this. Yeah, it's some work, but these people make it so easy. You know, just show up, wave my arms, and they do all the work. Okay? But it has really been a joy to work with this group. Our last piece is also a Leroy Anderson arrangement, probably one of his most famous. There are 3 songs that Anderson did that are really recognizable if you play in concert bands. We've already done a Christmas festival. We're going to do Sleigh Ride here in just a moment, okay? But the other one is a really unique piece. It's called The Typewriter. Anybody ever heard that piece? It actually uses a manual typewriter as the primary solo instrument. I don't know if you could find a manual typewriter anymore. You know, if you did, you probably wouldn't want to play it because it's an antique. Okay? And he wrote some really interesting pieces. Sleigh Ride is probably his most famous piece. It's been covered by anybody who does any music at all. I mean, I have heard rock bands do it. I have heard country singers do it. Anybody and everybody will cover Sleigh Ride. The arrangement we're going to do is the original arrangement that was done for orchestra for the Boston Pops and been transcribed for concert band. It's been a pleasure to play for you. I hope you've enjoyed it. I want to thank the church here for allowing us to come and play, and hopefully we'll be back. So, Sleigh Ride. he wants me to use the mic. We're going to do this program again next Sunday night at the Goshen Methodist Church. So you're all invited. There's plenty of room. Please have a good evening. Be safe as you go home or wherever you're going. Oh, there are refreshments. Indulge.